Hey everybody. So this is pretty much just spontaneous, very much like my other live videos that I've done. Not planned, not announced, just more like, hey, I want to pop in here and talk with you guys. So I just wanted to kind of like process some of the things that I'm learning being an ambassador with Noonday Collection, and why I think it's worth it to be one. Essentially, the reason why I joined it is because of the difference that it really makes around the world, and that's something I'm very passionate about. I think pretty much if you have been overseas and for like a missions trip or anything like that, and you've seen third world countries, if you've seen real poverty, even if you've just done like homeless ministry here in the States, which is something that my husband and I do regularly, and we don't really call it homeless ministry, we just kind of consider it our life and consider it like stopping for the person that we see in need around us. Basically, I grew up not knowing about a lot of the injustices in the world, and I think that that was an intentional and not intentional thing in my family. Just kind of like, there's already going to be suffering and hardship in your life, like why be exposed to more of it? We didn't really watch the news or anything like that, and I know that that's a huge source of negative information of world events. As I have plugged into more live news happening around the world through the church, I can tell you that there are incredible things happening around the world that you're not hearing about on the news. And it's very encouraging. But obviously, we all have a choice of making an impact with our life. And Martin Luther King Jr. Day, if we let it, is always a good time to kind of reflect on what impact we're making, because our choices are having an impact one way or the other. And I know not everything is black and white. There are some very gray areas, but I think just doing the best with what we know until we know more, and then doing the best again. And if you don't want to watch this, I understand, because once you know, then you're responsible for what you know. But when I was in or graduated high school, I went to discipleship training school for a few months, and after that time intentionally pursued becoming aware of injustices around the world, including poverty, including sex trafficking, human trafficking, the fact that kids are living on the streets, the fact that there are injustices even in adoption things around the world, just all sorts of stuff. Obviously, we know that there is darkness in the world, but if you're part of the body, then you also know that we are the light of the world, because Christ is in us and he is the light of the world. So that being said, the name behind Noonday comes from Isaiah 58, where it talks about if you're putting your life out there to care for the poor, and you're intentionally helping the oppressed, your light will shine like the noonday. Biblical concept. It's important. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm doing a video down here. Do you want to come down? Luke just got home from work. I don't know. I don't have super concise things to say about this. Again, it's just kind of processing for you guys, but this has been kind of a lifelong journey. You might have heard me mention the fact that I have wanted to do Noonday Collection as a business for like 5 years, so pretty much as long as they've been around. I just saw it as a way of actually being able to make an impact for good in vulnerable communities around the world. Basically, the vulnerable communities that I was making aware of through my studies and just learning as much as I could about what is really going on around the world, and hearing people's opinions on what helps and what doesn't help, and mostly just seeking the Lord on what it looks like to really help, what it looks like to put yourself out there on behalf of the poor and the oppressed, and to set captives free spiritually but also physically. So poverty is a pretty intense subject, but I think if you've understood anything about poverty, you know, there's the conversation between, like, do we give people a handout or do we give them a job? And who really wants a job and who really needs a handout right now to get to the point where they can have a job, and short-term helps versus long-term helps, and all of these different things. I guess I would just like to be a voice saying that I know that Noonday is a legitimate source of sustainable long-term income, like an actual help for people in vulnerable communities around the world. It's not specifically Noonday businesses in these different countries that hires people out of the communities. It's actually businesses in those countries, may or may not be run by an American or by somebody locally there that was like, hey, I can make this jewelry to help my family. And then Noonday comes along with, hey, we want to work with you guys to create this set of pieces for our collection this season. And then because of all the orders we're going to give you, you get to hire all these other people. The way that the finances works with Noonday is that Noonday pays the artisan partners up front for all of their pieces and all of their work. And then when we order our product from Noonday's home office to show at trunk shows and let people experience and try on and see in person, then we're basically making it worth it to Noonday to buy the pieces from the people in the countries, which is making them like break even and be able to even have profit to go and order even more the next season from the different countries, creating more businesses. And the more people like me that are an ambassador and that are going around in direct sales, in social marketing, in whatever you want to call it, I call it show and tell, because I want to create sustainable jobs for people, but I don't think that that happens through being like, you know, like I have to sell this many things. It's more, I think as people know better, they do better. So anyways, that's a little bit of my thoughts on Noonday, why I'm doing it, why I think it's worth it. And yeah, let me know any questions that you guys have. I think I'll be back to process some more, but I hear Naomi waking up from a nap. So thanks, you guys. Love you all. We'll talk again soon.